Hi, welcome back. You're listening to Matriarch Alchemy. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Allie.
And today we're going to talk about international travel for the first timers.
Yes.
Allie is getting ready to go to
Europe
alone. Well, not alone, but without me. And I have a big trip coming up too. So we wanted to just talk about make sure we're all prepared and safe when we decide to leave the country.
Mm-hmm.
So my number one thing, once I've obviously found a wonderful airfare, is when you're looking for hotels, figure out where you're going to go and how close you need to be. And so one of the biggest things I think you need to do at first is look at transportation and how do you get around while you're in another country, because a lot of places in Europe have really good public transportation.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want to pay to park or try to find parking, it's like the best way to get around. It's also amazing to walk everywhere. It's just so great to walk there.
Yeah.
But so you really need to be aware, like you might need to pay a little more even sometimes for a hotel to be close to the things you want to be so you can walk, because then you're not paying all this money for other ways to get around. And you don't have to risk feeling unsafe in like a taxi or something of that nature.
Yeah. I guess my first thing that I think of before even, transportation would be like, where exactly do I want to go, and kind of mapping that out so that I can find a more central location to stay.
Yeah.
And if anything, I'm going to end up staying in maybe 2 or 3 different places. So that's kind of where my first start, not on transportation, but on where I actually need to be or need to stay.
Did you look that up and where you're going? How you're going to get around? I know they are meeting people from this country they're going to, which makes it even more amazing and easy, but they can give them awesome advice. Yeah. How are you guys going to get around?
We have a rental car, but we also found out that a lot of European countries have like manual cars, which like we both have no problem driving, but I think that's something to also think about is a lot of European cars are manual.
If you know how to do it. The other thing is if you're going to drive a long, long, long time, sometimes driving manuals gets really annoying and it's like tiring, especially if you're not used to it. And we are actually renting an automatic car for our trip. We're doing a giant long UK trip, and we have a car, and so we want to be relaxed.
Yeah.
So we actually paid the extra money for we already have to learn to drive on the wrong side of the road. So on top of that, can you imagine shifting with the wrong hand? So it's not like, I can drive a manual. Now I'm driving a manual with the opposite hand and driving on the opposite side of the road.
Oh my God.
So already just driving on the wrong side of the road, or opposite side of the road, I won't say wrong, but that's going to be enough of a mental challenge. So can you imagine if you're trying to shift and you're not used to it, and then on top of that, it would be on the left side.
And we were like, about that.
We don't even want to deal with that. We can afford it. We're just going to get an automatic car. It's probably the most expensive part of our trip because obviously we have hotel points. We have not paid $1 for all of our hotel because of all the points from traveling for work.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That is nice. I know we kind of talked about before booking this whole trip of like opening a credit card for miles for buying all the flights and stuff, so that we can build that up so that at least when we do like regular in the US trips, we have miles and we're not worried about it for the next year or two.
Okay, so then once you've looked at the safety of the location of your hotel, or if you can walk places to eat, walk the places you want to go see, the restaurants around. It's really important to make sure you know where you can go get coffee and breakfast and like get there just easy, because you're going to be jet lagged and tired, and if not, hopefully that's in your hotel.
Yeah.
So then the next thing I do when I've booked my hotel and my car and I think about my transportation, before you book, you need to look at if there is a travel visa of any kind required for the country you're going to. Now, generally, what's it called, the EU, like all the like most of the European ones, they have one rule, one law, and it's actually pretty easy. We did a little thing. I submitted for a little travel visa. I think it took 10 minutes to come back and say I had one in my email. So it wasn't a bad thing for what I needed. The other thing to check is if you're renting a car is, do you need an international driver's license? Not everybody has looked this up, and it's pretty simple, but from what I had read, if you're going there for a short period of time, they don't require it. As long as you have a driver's license that's in English, you don't have to worry about it in the UK. Now,
Okay.
if you're going to another country where the signage may be hard to read, you need to double check what the licensing laws are, if they may need you to say that you can do
Yeah,
anything to
that's
get a
smart.
driver's license.
Yeah,
Just
that
in
is
case.
smart.
I don't know every little country, so some of the ones you're going to, I'm not sure.
Well, the only
Double
thing that
check.
I know in like a lot of European countries, like you were saying, is they didn't require us to have to like do a prior visa,
Uh-huh.
but they just required that your passport doesn't expire for the next 3 months and that you have at least 3 pages worth of like being able to stamp in the back.
Oh,
That was the only requirements.
okay.
But
Pretty easy.
it is cool because then once you're in with your visa, let's say if you flow into Germany, then you can take any little puddle jumpers kind of around
Yeah.
Europe, and they don't require any other like visas or anything unless you go out of the EU. That's kind of nice.
I'm trying to remember when I was there. So now both of us have already been to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Both of us have been all
Central
over
America.
to Caribbean, Mexico, Central America, and I've been to Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. But so just from the experience of those things, I have I have a friend from China that she always has to do crazy visa stuff,
Yeah.
even though she's was married to someone here, has children here. Like it's a lot of, and when she went to renew her visa, she had to fly. And she was like, "Do you want to go to France or Paris for a couple days? I need to renew my." I'm like, "What?" Because it's closer to go there than
Oh,
China,
yeah.
so it's cheaper air.
That's interesting.
Isn't it? It was so crazy. So depending on what country you're going to, make sure you just go online. It's so easy to find
I
and
think,
just look it
yeah.
up. And you're gonna have to make sure you do that before you book everything, to make sure you have time to get whatever necessary documentation you require. Okay.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good info out there on like the government website, the US government websites. You can search up whatever country you're going to and it will give you all of that information on if a visa is required, anything you have to do for it. And then it will also give you like safety stuff about that country too, if there's anything currently going on to be like worry about.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually kind of nice is that that is out there so you can check on it.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to bring up was, what's the crime? What do I need to be careful about in this particular place?
Yeah,
Unfortunately, there's petty crimes pretty much anywhere, but
right.
touristy destinations, like if you're going to go to the Colosseum in Rome or you're going to go to the Eiffel Tower, there are people there looking for tourists that look like a good target. And it's usually pickpocketing more than
Yeah.
anything. And so it's more that being aware of how you are carrying your valuables and being aware of
Mm-hmm.
your surroundings. Don't be on your
Yes.
headphones and not, just need to be paying attention. And also learn to say no in their language so they leave you alone. Like, or learn how to say a phrase in their language before you go that will make them leave you alone because you don't look like you know,
Well, yeah. There's a lot
no
of like
idea what's going on.
touristy traps too, and a lot of like those kind of touristy areas, where they'll come up and be like, "Oh, here's a bracelet for you," and then they're trying to get money from you. Like those are also other things that are kind of like touristy traps that they
A
try
lot
to.
of more third world countries do that, where they tell
Mm-hmm.
you they're giving you a free thing and then they chase you down asking for money, asking you to pay for it. So don't accept a free thing,
Yeah.
and like it's just not worth it. Now, granted, if you can afford to buy a couple little things, these people, you need to be cautious about how you whip out your money. You don't look like you have a lot more. Maybe
Yes.
have your money in separate places or have a little cash in one pocket that you could pull out to buy a bracelet from a vendor or just to give to a vendor or someone that just looks like they're begging. Sometimes you want to help them, and it's nice to have something very like, oh, this is all I have here, and you're not digging out through your wallet. Now everyone sees where your wallet is.
And how much money you have.
Yeah, so you have to be super careful about all of that.
Yeah.
And not putting things in your back pockets. I know
Yes.
we have this habit
In
of
the US,
stuffing
yeah.
our cell phone in our back pocket, and that's the easiest place for someone to bump into you. They've just swiped your phone. Now you don't even know how you're going to get home. You know all your information. So you just need to
Yeah.
be more aware. And so sling bags.
No backpacks
I
or
know
big
fanny packs
purses.
aren't trying to come back in style.
Well,
I saw girls
I do
wearing a
think
fanny pack.
they are coming back in style, and people like even guys I know who are wearing them kind of as like a sling body bag. But at
Yeah.
least you keep everything kind of close and you know exactly where it is. You can feel if somebody were like, digging around in your chest, but that's something definitely to be aware of.
Yeah. And then the other thing is you don't really want to be wearing flashy watches or rings because they're going to try to steal them from you. Like they may target you. Someone will say they saw you coming out if you got a Rolex on out of your hotel. And somebody will follow you, or the cab driver will text someone, oh, they got a Rolex in my car, and you might get mugged when you get out. Even if you're just trying to walk
Yeah.
into your hotel, I've had people that have had that happen because they've said, we're coming, and two big guys will come up and steal your watch. So, I mean, you just got to be careful. And you have to think about what kind of places you're going to be in.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is like with the sling bags and for girls, like, you want to have purses. I like crossbody bags. I put it on under my coat.
Yeah.
So it's totally like nobody can grab my strap and take it off. They'd have to like take my whole coat with me. And by then I've jumped on top of them and made their life hell.
Well, yeah. And it's like, thinking about where you're setting down your bag. If you sit down to have a meal somewhere, or don't
Yes.
just go and leave it on the side of your chair. It's like,
I'm even careful about that here. You don't just hang your purse on the back of a chair where someone sitting behind you at a bar could just take your wallet out of it. I put it under my coat, or I put it on the front, or I put it towards my boyfriend as opposed to out towards the walkway, or I put it back on which I sit in whatever chair is towards the wall.
Right.
I put it back there, like, or I put
Somewhere
it behind me
easier.
if I can't put it on the table. But like,
yeah,
you just need to be cautious of your things. Don't set a backpack down and then not be paying attention.
Really great is, at least from some European places, they know everybody's kind of traveling, and so if you don't have a place for, let's say, your suitcase because you can't check into your place, or you have a late flight, there are actual cubbies that you can go in. It's like lock boxes for luggage. I just found this out where we're going in. We're stopping in Italy for a couple of days, and we have like a weird gap, and we can actually go in these lock boxes and lock our luggage away if we can't leave it at the hotel, which is kind of nice. That's another thing you can do.
Rolling stuff around on old cities with stone streets is a nightmare. Like if you can't lift your bag, like if you're going to go somewhere and be able to walk, you need to bring one of those big duffel bags that's a backpack that has the straps. Because you're not going to be able to roll anything.
No.
And that's easier to lift than lifting it with your arm anyway.
But yeah, I mean, your hotels, even if you're early to check in, a lot of them will like hold it before your check-in time, or you can leave it after.
And lock it.
Some Airbnbs hosts might be willing to like hold your luggage because they kind of get it, but that's up to you if you feel comfortable with that. But you can look into if there's some pre-check into the airport or those bag.
And then when you leave in rental cars, nothing should be visible. Nothing.
No. I think
nothing should be visible in a car.
Never.
So when you get a rental car, really look at the style of like, does this trunk close? And or is it an SUV where I can, mini SUV? Well, in Europe, there's not as many of that situation, but putting it in the back in a place where no one can see it.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. We have cable locks. So they're like kind of like bike locks, but it's a long, just thin metal cable. So if you go on a train, a lot of people, there's like these sections where you put all the suitcases and then you walk up to your train section and sit down. I had this, and I was not prepared. Luckily, my bag was so heavy, I don't think anyone would have ever tried to take it. I was in Portugal with a friend, and he's like, we're getting on a train and we're going to go up to this other city. And I have my giant duffel bag from Costco, whatever. And he threw it into this luggage thing, and we went, and he had upgraded us to these really nice seats. And I was like, cool. Because now I'm like, someone could have just gone at any time and grabbed or gone through my bag. So a lot of those you have to watch. So you can actually cable lock your suitcase to the train. No one can grab it and get off the train.
That's nice.
Or go put it in another car or go through your stuff.
Yeah.
So it's one thing. And you can actually do that in a lot of places where you can say, well, I can make it really hard and annoying for them to steal my bag. Or even put the cable lock so all your suitcases are tied together in your trunk. And maybe even to the metal under the seat of the car.
Yeah.
But then they can't pull them out. But if you lock them together in a way that they can't be rolled, it's just one more deterrent. Or that would slow them down where someone would be like, now they noticed.
You want it to be like just you want to be
It's
a hard
awkward.
target, you know?
Yeah, and what makes you an easy target is people who are not freaking thinking and then planning and paying
Or paying, yeah.
attention. And just, you need to be aware. And, it's not that bad things are going to happen all the time, but the people who look frazzled and like they don't know what they're doing, you're a target. One great thing you can do is enroll for the STEP program through the U.S. Embassy. It's online at step.state.gov. And this will alert you with text and email if there's protests, demonstrations, or weather emergencies in your location. So on top of that, with the Embassy STEP program, is we checked on if there's a visa.
Mm-hmm.
How many times do you think people think before they travel to look where the U.S. Embassy is in the country they're going to?
Very rarely.
Did we look it up when we went to Belize last year or whenever? Like, did we
Maybe.
look up to see where it was before? Because we ended up going there. Something
We
happened and
did.
we went there. So let me just say, wow, what an adventure.
I think
And
that
now I
was,
know everything we need if you lose your passport. I
well,
didn't live.
so
I
yeah,
think I touched it
most
again.
important thing if you need anything overseas is find out where the closest embassy is, know where it is, because they can help with any problems that could arise that would be, let's say you get mugged. The embassy will communicate, they'll be like a liaison to the country for you. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you get beat up, if you get robbed, if you lose your passport, if you, any of those things, you need to know how to contact the embassy and where they are, because sometimes you'll have to go in.
Yeah.
So, very important.
And then the speed for which made this easier, which you could prepare this for, is you need to, if you have your passport application anywhere, a picture of your old passport, first of all, really helps. Have it somewhere you can access. If your phone got lost, make sure it's saved in an email that you could access from someone else's browser on their cell phone.
Yeah.
Or any computer. You log in and you look at it. I always email myself a document that has my credit card company phone numbers or bank phone numbers of any card that I took with me. So
Yes.
if I need to call them immediately and cancel, it's really good to have that number. If you have a travel buddy, put it in their phone. Because if you were like, oh my God, call Chase or call this bank right now, you can call the 800 number and say, freeze my phone.
Or freeze my cards.
Yeah, or, freeze my credit card. And then you can call Verizon and say, hey, my phone's stolen. FYI, or now, what's the Apple thing? Can't you lock it?
Yeah, on Apple, you
Remote
can lock it if you log into your Apple, I think.
Yeah, so I would say just
How
look
to
that
look for
up,
that,
look
yeah.
at how to do it. But I always email myself a list of any of the phone numbers that I would need to call for like a really fast emergency, and then a copy of my passport. And and so if we had someone lose their passport on one of our last trips, and luckily I had in my email their pictures and their passport application. So what happens is you go and they have to make you a new passport. So they have to reprint it. So you have to figure out how to get photos. So if you already have a photo, then they'll tell you where you can go have them printed.
Yeah.
So like if you're really going to a third world country or you're going somewhere where that could be more dangerous or exhaustive, I know some countries are going to be different than others. You really need to consider having all of that just in an email that you can pull up and be like, here, because that ended up being kind of a pain for us to like print and make, and like for them to make, and then you have to pay all this money cash for a temporary passport, and then when you get home you have like 12 months to go and get another passport.
Thankfully
it's awful.
They do whatever cash you put for the new one, they will give you like a credit or something, I believe, to like get a new one, which is nice.
Oh, that's good.
But I guess that's
I never lost mine
too,
before.
is also letting like or looking up to see if you need to let your phone company know that you're going overseas and see if they can cover you, or sometimes they'll just transfer it to like another European company while you're there.
Mm-hmm.
And then also like you can mark on your credit card that you're traveling, just so when you do get there, they at least know and they won't just instantly freeze your card, because that can also kind of be hard.
You can warn them ahead of time that you're going to be in that country, so when they see charges.
But yeah.
Also, it's really good to have. I have my banking app with my credit card, and I can freeze and lock my credit card from my phone. So if I just think I don't know where it is.
Yeah. At least
Or
know
just
how to.
even like at night, you could lock it.
Yeah, so at least know if you can do that either through your app or if you need to like just call them to lock it. Have
Mm-hmm.
that saved in your phone, ready to go if let's
Yeah.
say you
And
lose
it
it for a
takes like
second.
20 seconds to unlock it as long as you can
As long as you
get on a
find it.
network. As long as you can get on a network. So if you have no cell phone, that's going to be a whole nother. And no Wi-Fi, that'd be a different problem. But so I have Verizon, and they have a really good global network where the way that it costs is like this one flat fee, and it's actually pretty great to go to a lot of the typical countries that we would go to.
Yeah.
I think AT&T does it like daily, but you just have to look at your plan, so
My
you're not
I think
surprised.
yeah.
But you're gonna want it. So I don't understand people who are like, I'm just gonna use Wi-Fi and WhatsApp. No, you're really not. You're not gonna
It's
want
kind
that.
of hard
It
if
sucks. Just turn
yeah.
your phone on. And I mean, you shouldn't be traveling to another country if you can't afford to turn your phone on.
Well, yeah, that's going to be
I don't
hard
know.
to kind of
That's weird.
communicate if you
Maybe for your kids, they
yeah,
can just use WhatsApp for
they
their
don't need that.
friends or Snapchat on Wi-Fi. That's what I would do. Like when you guys were younger, I would say you can use Wi-Fi, but your cellular's off while we were traveling, and then whenever we'd get
It's like
at a
most
hotel or at a
yeah.
restaurant, you guys would get on Wi-Fi and play on your phone for a
Most
second.
I mean, you can mostly find Wi-Fi at least for that, but I do think at
Yeah.
least one person in your party
Yeah.
should have cellular so that you guys, just in case something were to happen, because we had the Amazing Race happen before, and that is my other thing is please make sure you have a battery pack with you to just charge a phone just in case you're out all day
And there's
and
really
you're
great ones
lost.
that last forever, but there's also really nice light ones that you can bring around. So that's
Yeah, and some of them are just like
have your cord with you. Maybe when you go out and about,
throw that in your little bag.
take your cord
Yeah.
for your
I mean,
charger.
other thing, universal chargers. You can definitely make sure you know if you need to get a universal charger for, let's say, Europe.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy them there usually, but sometimes I think it's cheaper just to like buy them here in the U.S. really quick instead of in the airport or when you're struggling at the hotel.
Mm. So then the next thing for me would be injury. I know a number of
Mm-hmm.
people who've crashed their amazing mopeds overseas because they don't know how to drive one and the traffic is insane. It's not always a good idea as a tourist to go get on one of those and drive around with a bunch of trucks and cars and
Yeah.
try not to die. So, what would you do if you got injured in the country you're going to?
I believe we can just go into anywhere. Um, our when we bought our flights, it actually asked us if we wanted like travel health insurance that they were
Mm-hmm.
able to like provide.
Mm.
So you can use that if you want, but I think it just depends on the place you're going.
Mm.
But most, I feel like you can just go in and they'll figure it out, or some of them have universal health care. So
Or it's super cheap. It's
super
crazy.
cheap.
So my one of my nephews, I can't remember what country they were in. They do scuba diving a lot all over, and he cut his face open really bad, needs stitches. My brother was like, it cost me $32. And I'm like, what? Like whatever he needed, like a
Yeah.
stitch or ointment or whatever they got, it was just insanely cheap, but he just paid cash. It was fine.
Yeah.
So they got that health care. I'm like, the only thing that's ever happened to me is I got like a eye infection on one of the international flights. And when I was in I was in France and Portugal, and then my friend took me. We just walked into a pharmacy. The pharmacist was allowed to just prescribe things, and he looked at my eye and he gave me some drops, and I left. I didn't even pay for them; he just gave them to me, and I was like, okay,
Yeah. But I think that is something that
because
is
they have
important to look up.
taxes for all of that.
Yes.
But I was like,
That's
this
my
is
other thing.
nice.
Before I ever go on vacation for like the week before, I am overloading my system with like vitamins to
Oh
make sure
yeah.
I do not get sick because that those flights and then being jet lagged can be really hard on your body. So make sure you're drinking lots of water, more than
It,
you think you should.
that awful flight when you think you should want to have a drink is probably the
Do it.
worst time to drink alcohol
Yes.
because that's when everyone gets sick. And
Yeah.
you need to bring your own Clorox wipes around for some of that stuff, unless your airline, I mean, just clean stuff. I napped in the mask. When I went to bed, I just put a mask on. Like, I don't want this in my face all day. I just
Yeah.
wanted to like have more protection. Definitely, I took vitamin C and
Zinc.
echinacea, and everything. I pump up my immune system so much that I felt gross before I leave. I'm like, my body's like, what is in here? But
Yeah.
it helps. But usually it's like now at the end of the trip, you start trailing and feeling, or you get sick when you get home.
I guess that brings up my other thing is make sure, like, you love bringing your medicine bag. So when I travel with my mom, I feel like I don't have to pack as much.
I am a pharmacy.
She is the pharmacy.
But we talked about this. I'm always prepared.
Yes. And that's what I love traveling with you is I don't have to worry as much as about all this stuff. But
I bought a clear plastic, like a cosmetics bag. Yeah. And depending on where we're going and what we're doing, I put things we could need in there. So there's Advil and Benadryl and Imodium, like always tummy things, because that's one of the first things that happens to everyone: headaches and stomach aches. From eating weird, different foods. Maybe you ate something dirty. Maybe you drank too much of the ocean.
Stress or anxiety of just like being in the new place, plus like you just get like tummy issues the first few days.
Yeah, and if we're going somewhere really remote, I have like an EpiPen, Band-Aids, first aid, little things. Like I might bring even like a tiny ace bandage. Like if we're really going
somewhere
where I'm like, there's not even going to be a store, But if we're like in a city like London, I'm not going to pack that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
more think of
but also the cost of some of these things, it's better to keep a couple with you for whatever. Like I just like, but the main thing is, Tums, Pepto, Imodium seems to be most people's. If you have an anti-nausea prescription, put that in there. And then allergy stuff, if you have a reaction, antihistamine.
Yeah.
I always have that in my toiletry bag. I always have like you buy little tiny plastic bags from any of the drugstores.
Yeah.
And you can write what it is and just put even like 5 pills in there. It does not take up hardly any space.
Yeah.
But just having it makes everything so much easier and nice. And usually like sunscreen and chapstick. Last time I had all that kind of stuff. I had sunburn stuff.
Yes.
Because we were in the Caribbean, and I knew all the 20-year-olds would get sunburned.
It's just part of the trip. But
we do eye drops.
I do think those are important things. Is all the stuff that you would go, if I got sunburn, what would I want? Okay.
Yeah, and I always have something in my eye, so I always have eye drops, like multiple eye drops. My boyfriend just bought me an eye flush kit because he's like, again?
That's funny.
I don't know what it is about my eyes. Yeah, but so the other thing is like, I don't know, things that just would kind of ruin your vibe or make your trip
you wouldn't really know how you would get, or you just kind of wish that you had it on hand in the moment.
Yeah, so you just buy them, make little tiny bag, and your life is so much better. Especially like chewable Pepto. Oh my gosh, those are the best thing ever. And I'm not talking about the little chalky ones. They have the like softer, gummy ones. That's like a savior when your stomach is just annoyed. Like you're not sick, but you feel sour.
I feel like that's part of just like drinking when you're also exhausted. That adds to it. I don't know.
That's a hard thing too. People drink when they travel, and then they get your immune system's just screwed. So you just have to be a little bit careful about maybe not drinking right before you fly.
Yeah.
Either way, and then I've had like when I fly international, I like have a glass of wine and then watch a movie and go to bed, like go to sleep on the plane, because they give you like 4 hours to sleep, and it's morning and we're serving you breakfast. But you could also just do a melatonin and then just crash out on the plane for a little while too. I know a lot of people take like a little melatonin. They make cute melatonins now. They're like little chocolate chews and candies, even for kids.
That's funny.
You can crash out your kids with go to like the natural grocer type of store by you, or go look online.
I think that's like my hardest part is like trying to get in like the sleep schedule prior. So like, when you're on the plane, I'm like, I'm going to get myself in the sleep schedule. I'm like looking at what time it's going to be in the other place I'm going. And
I think the main thing is like you have to adapt to their time as soon as possible. And so that sometimes that means just staying awake a really weird long period of time, but then you can go to sleep when it's actually time to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But if you nap, now you can't go to sleep.
Yeah, I think that's get a sleep on the plane, but then if you land, let's say at like 2 o'clock, it's like you're just gonna need to stay up and party through for a little bit just so that you get your body like,
Yeah.
okay, this is what we're doing now.
Yeah, definitely. Um, let's see. What else?
Be it some packing tips on making sure
Ooh,
you don't overpack or underpack.
I'm so good at packing.
What's the easiest way? I know the other day you were telling me about the what 3 3 and 3 rule.
Yeah, there's a thing you can find online now. I don't know what they call it, but it looks like Sudoku, and you make outfits in 3 rows, and there's a pant, a top, and like an outer layer jacket or
Mm-hmm.
sweater in each of the rows. And if you look at them across, you look them up and down, and you go diagonal, every single one of those makes an outfit. But so when I pack and I want to bring less things, I pack everything that matches and goes together so that it can be all used together. And then you have more outfits and you also can edit for every kind of weather you have.
Yes,
So the
that's
main thing is
important.
you want, obviously, your shoes are going to change based upon where you're going. Yeah, we want our nice sneakers, but you go to a lot of countries, you're going to be in dirt and mud. You're not going to want to be wearing your Air Force Ones walking around, and you're going to be like what, like
Yeah.
swamping through the mud at an Irish castle. Maybe you should wear some Doc Martens, something waterproof.
Or, if you are going to Europe at all, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of walking involved. Most people do walk like, 5 to 10 plus miles a day. So make sure you have a good pair of shoes that are
Broken
broken
in
in,
beforehand.
ready for that kind of walking. I just got a new pair of shoes, been wearing them every single day. I found some hot spots. So I'm already like stretching them out, putting little things in there so that they're all
Yeah, so the
ready.
other thing for lots of walking is moleskin. So you
Mm,
can go to Walgreens, Rite Aid, whatever. You can go on Amazon. You can probably get just a sheet of moleskin. So it is like a super soft, cushiony band-aidy material. And then you can put that over, like, say, an owie toe or your heels if they're
yeah.
bleeding or something. It'll cushion it, and you can just keep walking. So
Oh, yeah.
hikers use it a lot, but that's something to consider having. It's not going to take up any space. Just put it in
Tiny
your
little
back
medicine
because you're
bags.
not going to find it probably when you get there. So put it in a pocket in your suitcase. So that's definitely a really good one. Or if you think you need it, bring like the extra little arch support or cushions and just put them in your bag, and maybe you bring them and you can put them in your shoes. Um, Clothing thing, really want to be able to reuse stuff as much as possible. Unless you're going to an event, you don't need to be all dressed up just walking around in Europe. Like it's pretty casual. You don't need to dress though in your leggings and your sweatpants, but you bring your pants and like t-shirts and long sleeve shirts and a nice jacket and
Yeah,
layer
I
it up.
I mean I do think that like Europe is a little bit more classy than say like leggings or
They
jeans.
don't dress like
They
that
dress
there.
just not they just dress like business casual, I feel like every day, if not more.
Yeah, it's so funny. It depends on who's listening to you about what casual is, but like
I say business casual
I'm
all
just
day.
wearing a casual top, but I realize it's this funny tie that I wore today. But it's like some people's casual is
It's too
pajamas.
casual for me,
And
but
yeah, I mean, if you want to be received well and be comfortable and be able to go from walking around a tour to go out to dinner in the same clothes, you're gonna put on some pants.
well, I also think it like targets you and it points you out as a foreigner that might put you in those points where people are like, "Oh, they're probably carrying a lot of cash because they look
Pickpockets.
like a."
Yep. Yeah, because I think your wallet's full of cash. And then I mean, it's just also appropriateness. So a lot of the things when we go in Europe, there's a lot of really old churches and things that we go visit. We're not going in churches with tube tops and leggings on because it's inappropriate. Sometimes they won't even let you in. Like you need to be dressed appropriately. So I always dress like I'm gonna go stroll through a nice museum, and a lot of times it's cold.
Yeah.
So you can wear pants, you can wear a sundress, you bring a cardigan. I don't know.
But
I
yeah.
like to be dressed. I'm not going to walk around in
Yes.
London in leggings.
No.
Like I'm not, I'm
Oh
sorry,
my
our
gosh.
dog just made the strangest noise.
So yeah, I do think it's important to look up like customs and culture. So, if I'm going to the Vatican, I'm definitely going to find shirts that cover my shoulders or pants that cover my knees, and that's including men too.
Hmm.
I do need to do that, but also other customs that they might have in greetings or the way that they do things. I think that's really important to kind of look up and just know what to expect.
Yeah, because you could be being offensive without even being aware. So that's
Yeah.
kind of weird, right? So I can't think of an example, but learning those little tiny things in their culture that they do and also doing it is just showing respect. You're a good ambassador.
Yeah.
Um,
I
let's
think
see. We were talking about the greetings. So in different countries, they don't greet each other the same way. And a lot of times in Europe, it's a cheek touching.
it's called the biz where they like
And
they
it's
kiss,
and then
but it's
French, they
not.
talk about kissing. There's very little kissing. Now, when someone close to you might kiss you, I've had men that I know kiss me on cheek to cheek. It's not weird. It's not sexual. It's just that's just the way they do it.
It's a
Now, a lot
cultural
of
thing.
people,
They
it's
just kind of like
and
air
it's
do
they
it.
don't know you very well. Especially, it's this. You're not even touching their face, and thank goodness
I
for
think
that.
that was like a big culture shock when I was got off the plane. I'm sleep deprived. You know, you're in a new country, so everything's overwhelming.
Somebody
And
came
I
at your face.
had just met like my exchange family,
Yeah.
and just the dad and then the mom and then the brother. Everybody's doing the cheek thing, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, I'm
You're
so
like, this is a
confused.
lot.
It was just a lot, but at least like I knew to expect it, so I
Yeah.
wasn't like, what? Why are they trying to do these weird things?
When
But
you had, she was a French exchange student. I don't know if we said that yet in the
oh yeah,
cutout. So she had a French teacher who I think was really good at giving them
yeah. It was good
good
advice,
preparation.
and we practiced just so that she was like, I don't want you guys to feel weird, so we're gonna practice it before we go.
I really
But
struggled with it. Like with
really,
me as an adult woman and having to do that with adult men, like with the face, I was like, I didn't want people near my face. So I
mm,
was saying in Portugal, a lot of the men actually wanted to shake my hand because they wanted to be like they were an
American.
American. So they were like, "Oh, hello." Like, "Ooh, I get to do the thing." They knew, but see, that's the thing. They
They are
culturally knew
practicing, yeah.
that that's what we do. And you should know the same thing about what they do. Like it's
Well, yeah,
just respect.
yeah, and I do think also like respectfully learning languages, whether you don't have to
Mhm.
fully know how to speak French, but it's like know greetings, know how to ask basic things like where's the train station, or
Yeah.
where's your bathroom, help,
Uh,
how do you ask
yeah.
for help.
Mhm.
um
Yeah, I think being able to ask for a restroom, ask for a bathroom, ask for help, and then always be able to say thank you. I think
yes.
I don't go to any country without knowing how to say thank you in their language. Luckily, no is almost no in every in a lot of languages.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, you might want to learn how to say yes, no, thank you, like and please, like at bare minimum, even if they know a little of your language and you work it out, you just look so like you're trying and you get some like brownie points for freaking trying.
like I think it's respectful, but like most of the time when in other countries, like I've learned that if they speak a little English, they want to practice it back to me. But at least,
Yeah.
like when I was exchange student, I would speak French and then they would speak English back, but we would go, and then fix whatever they said so that we both were
So
learning.
you're learning.
Like that's how we all learn and be a good person in this world is just, helping each other out and
Oh.
trying.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I remember when I was in France, I had a hotel gal who she spoke English and she helped me out a lot. But I tried and tried and tried and practiced in my room, just getting dressed, all the things I want to ask her every morning. And I would go down and I would try to ask her, and she would know what I was saying, and she'd answer. And I had tried to read all the responses, and when she'd answer, I'd be like,
uh,
I would just glaze over, and I go, I'm sorry, I have no idea what you just said. And she's like, it's okay. But she loved that I tried. I was like, I'm trying to get an airport taxi. And she's like, I got you. I'll set that up. But
but I mean, it's just so respectful to try and learn their customs and a little bit of their language. If anything, you have Google Translate on your phone. You can take pictures
mm-hmm.
of menus or signs and it will translate. Or if
Yeah.
you need to ask a question, you can write it and turn it around.
And if
But
you have like huge dietary or allergies or something, you need to really
look
do
that
some
up too
research
before.
before you go. Know how to say it in their language.
Yeah.
Maybe research some restaurants in advance or talk to someone from there to see if they can help you with that, because that's a weird thing to leave hanging.
And pack snacks if you have to. If you like, I have celiac, so traveling really anywhere sometimes can be an issue, especially overseas. I know I found Italy has a lot of gluten free, which is crazy to me, but I'm so excited.
Shocking.
It's probably delicious. But I'm gonna pack some like snacks just in case I go somewhere that doesn't have it, or at night, if I can't find a little snack somewhere, at least I have something in my suitcase, like a piece of
Yeah.
bread. So,
Yeah, I do the same. I definitely don't want to be caught without something. And so I pack a lot of like protein bar-y snacks that won't get
mhm.
crushed into my bag for no matter just throughout the time. And especially if I'm going to be driving long places between cities or going to a lesser known country or lesser developed
Yeah.
country. I just found these really cool. If you guys go online, I think it's for people who have gastric bypass surgery, but they make little tiny protein packets and it's
Yeah.
literally like 2 tablespoons of liquid. Well, I take those when I travel and then I 17 grams of protein, one little slurp, and I love having those in my
They're like
bag
little
for
Go-Gurt
when I can't
proteins.
find something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a tiny Go-Gurt, and then
We like
I
packing
have
them to meet
that.
our protein goals, but yes, same
But
thing.
when
It's really
sometimes
good.
I'm like struggling, or if I'm like, oh, this meat's weird, I don't feel good, but I know I need protein. So for me, those are like a game changer to be able to take those along. I always take those even on the airplane. Like I have a
Yes.
couple in my backpack, but it's good to do that. And then like say if you have a picky eater in your group, I always end up packing some stuff for that person. Like I will put in whole
That and
whole
yeah,
boxes of stuff. If we're going somewhere really remote, I will have like Pringles cans pack really good in a suitcase without getting crushed for teenagers. Because you'll go to the gas station or the little tiny store or whatever, and they're so expensive just to buy chips.
that or it's just like
And I'll just
sometimes
put
you
some in.
struggle finding things that you're like, I can't even read this packaging.
You can't get
And
it
you're already
to eat.
starving and you're just like, ah.
If we go anywhere with a kitchen, I always put a frozen loaf of gluten-free bread in my suitcase for Ellie. Not so much anymore, but I would when we would travel. If we're going to Airbnb, if we were going to like Puerto Rico or
Yeah.
Mexico or something, a lot of times we could get you like corn tortillas. But in the Airbnb, we would just like make toast for breakfast and make an egg or like
Yeah,
whatever.
and you can always run to, if there is a store nearby. I mean, yes, you can buy snacks, but at least if you do have an allergy that is, you're traveling, you're hungry, you don't know, and you're overwhelmed and tired. It's like sometimes it's just really nice if I'm in my hotel room at night and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm jet lagged, and all of a sudden I'm starving. So now I
Yeah,
have a little piece of toast,
you
or
gotta think about that. And I know it's
those are good.
annoying to pack that extra stuff, but sometimes it's easier. So we went to the Bahamas and rented a house some years back, and that was a big one where I swear we had golf carts on this island and we had to go to the
So
grocery
fun.
store every day. We had 12-ish people in the
Yes.
house and we were running out of stuff and oh my god, we were going to the liquor store like every day to get more drinks but
That's
I
funny.
had pet stuff for her in mine and I was like, "Oh my gosh, thank goodness I did because they didn't have anything there for like that and everything was so expensive. Even like a thing of coffee creamer was $10.
Well, I think it was because it was such a small island that they struggled like importing, stuff.
Yeah,
It was expensive. So that's like another thing is to look up like how much average do you think you're going to end up spending? You can Google it. There's a lot of blogs out there of people who have done
costs
stuff.
of things. Look at some menus online of restaurants. Look at the
Mm-hmm.
pricing.
Just so you have an idea and bring at least have a couple $100s of cash, you can actually get it before you
Small
ever
bills.
go.
Bring small bills
Yes.
for tipping and stuff.
Wait, well, also
Depends
that's
where you're at.
another cultural thing is in Europe they don't do tipping. It's not at all common. And the other thing that I've heard is a lot of them don't like paying in card unless you have told them before you even order anything.
Hmm.
Because it's like the
I
way
always
that they
pay
put it
card at
into the
restaurants.
systems, at least this is what I learned for Croatia for the little bit that we're going, is if you're going to pay card, you tell them before you even order, just so
Hmm.
that they can put it in their system because it's a little bit different.
Hmm.
That was from a local who told me to do that. She's like, they get so upset if you don't. So
Huh.
at least I know
Interesting.
now.
Yeah. Well, we're such a cashless society here that you don't think about it. But I always show up with like quite a few $5 bills for tipping when I go other places. So like if you go to Mexico or you go to Bahamas or wherever, like they expect tips on like the drivers and the stuff. Like you want to have handy small
Yeah.
bills
Or
that you
paying for
can
taxis.
grab
Sometimes they
out.
do like cash.
Or buying trinkets or a soda or something small.
But I also like it for just like also have kind of like in case of an emergency, if something were to happen and your card got, let's say, turned off because your card company goes, oh my gosh, somebody stole your card, and then you're like, in this waiting period of trying to get it back on, at least you have some cash just in case, or it gets stolen. I think that's important.
Yeah, that's good too. I'm trying to think. Also, then my last thing would be when you go back to the airport, give yourself ample time because some of these international airports can have insanely long lines to get through security.
Oh, I
It
feel
may
like
or may not happen to you. I had one that was a 3 hour line
oh
and I was
Lord.
late. I butted as much of the line until one lady was mad at me and I stood behind her. We were rushing home. The kids were at home and
Well,
grandma had fallen and
oh
broken
my
her hip.
gosh, that was a whole
So I
thing.
was like, oh my gosh, I cannot miss this flight.
You can also look into some of the European countries have like a fast pass that's like the TSA pre-check or clear, and you can actually apply for it.
Hmm.
Which that was something that popped up when we were buying our flights. Was like, do you want to apply for their fast pass? Which I was like, we're not really.
I have to look at what the TSA pre-checky, and I have global entries. I want to see what that is for
That's
like if
another
say if
thing.
we're flying in and out of our main airport will be Heathrow. Should be
I
pretty
guess that is
easy.
another thing is global entry you can apply for.
I'm gonna look at that.
I don't know if you want to
I don't know
kind
if I
of
have
give a
enough
little
time, but I'll
spiel
look.
about what that is,
But what is?
Global entry.
Oh gosh, it's just like platinum TSA pre-check. So it's more for international travel. So I mean, the main thing is you go in and you get fingerprinted and you answer questions and they background check you. So you go through TSA like I'm touchless. They just know me at my airport now. So they take my picture, I go in and out. Like they don't even ask to see my ID
This
or
is
my
when
boarding
you're
pass in the United States.
coming back in from the customs, right?
But when I come in, especially so when we came in to our airport, I just I will leave the entire family if they don't have it. I don't care because I go to the baggage claim and I get the bags while
Yeah.
they're in line. I'm like, you'll make it through the line.
You'll get there one day.
It's
Bye.
fine. So I just go. I walk up to a camera and it takes my thing. And this last time, the guy gave me a plastic number, a yellow thing, and he's like, "Here you go, Amanda."
But yeah,
I was like, "Thanks." So
customs.
then I walked out, and then I go to the baggage claim, get my bag, and then when I walk out, I just hand them the plastic thing. They don't ever even talk to me. Like I skipped a huge line when I came back into New York. Like if I fly into like LaGuardia or something, the global entry is awesome there. The line is short compared to everyone else coming in from the other countries and stuff. Because you might wait in line for 40 minutes.
But
And I
yeah.
just walked right through.
Also, like keep in mind with customs of what you can or can't bring into a country or bring back.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's
Don't overshop.
look into it. Make sure you're not bringing anything you can't or pack anything you can't bring into a country.
I have these things. I like to buy wine when I travel in different countries. And I have these things called wine hugs, and they're essentially a little tiny life raft. You wrap it around a bottle of wine and you blow it up and it inflates to protect the wine. Well, you can only throw so many of those in with your clothes, and then your bag is heavy. And I got 11 bottles of wine in my duffel bag.
It's a lot.
I don't know how the weight passed, but one of them broke in the bag. So usually what I do is I take the trash bags out of the hotel and I wrap the wine hug inside of a trash bag. So if it were to break, it's slightly contained.
Yeah.
So my duffel bag came rolling around, looking like it was bleeding out on one
Oh
side of
no.
red wine and looked like I had a body. And I was like, oh no.
No.
But it was actually pretty well contained. Only one shirt had kind of gotten a little wine on it. It was kind of funny. But you have to be careful and like think about if you're going to buy any souvenirs and things, like how are you going to get them back? Like, do you need to bring any additional empty bags? You could bring a duffel bag that's stuffed in your suitcase that you get
Like
out so you have a second bag you can check. So a lot of times
that,
you can
or
check
just make
pretty
sure
cheap.
when you're packing, you at least leave enough room where you're like, hey, if I wanted to buy a few things of clothes or maybe some souvenirs, can it fit in my suitcase?
Mm-hmm.
That's like also the biggest problem is coming back. I always feel like somehow I have less space when I got here and I didn't even buy anything.
Usually because your clothes aren't folded as
Yeah,
nicely
I
as when
know.
you
I'm
left.
just ready
So
to go.
if you really actually fold your dirty clothes back up, so if you have a dirty laundry bag that you stuff your dirty clothes in, like they give you those laundry bags, Those are awful for actual packing unless they're one of those ones that you suck all the air out of. So now they're really selling a lot of those online, and it's super fast and easy. You get this little plastic bag and you can pack all your stuff, and you can put like days or outfits or stuff in a bag, and then you have a little pump to pull the air out of the bag. But now your clothes are going to be a lot more wrinkly. So depending on it,
Yeah.
it'd be kind of cool to take one of those and just put all your dirty clothes at the end and suck the air out.
That kind of sounds like a great idea. And then I got my little water bottle, and I was everything.
But I take the dirty clothes and like wrap them around all my souvenirs and stuff. So I mean, I don't generally like. I only put socks and underwear in the laundry bag. Like I think that's something I would absolutely never wear again. Like everything else, I will fold my pants and fold my t-shirts the entire trip in case I need to put that back on.
Yeah.
So it's in a nice shape. I might hang it up in a hotel just to air it out. You know those little tiny aerosol bottles?
Mm-hmm.
Fill one of those with Febreze.
Oh.
And then you mist your armpits of your coat or your t-shirt. Like if you want everything, like I said, to keep smelling fresh, you just want to wear it again, bring a tiny Febreze. They might make one, but you could make your own.
Yeah.
Buy it. And so that stuff, that would help too. If you want to re-wear, if you're like, oh wait, I just feel like it's hot or my armpits are sweaty.
No, I think those are all some really good tips.
I'm trying to think what things I pack. So I'm pretty darn. We traveled on average the last year, like twice a month. I mean,
yeah,
I'm taking a break from it right now, and then in I don't know 6-ish weeks, then I'll be gone for probably 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, we're
traveling.
Not, or I guess I never pack like anything big. I always get the minis, or if I have the little like
or make it mini.
Yeah, I make it a mini. I also really try to like go through my makeup bag and I'm like, what do I actually only? Why do I have 4,000
Minimize
things?
everything. Make it, if it's a big bottle, make it small. If it's glass, make it plastic. You know, it's like make it all small.
And you can use
so they make
Amazon.
These bags now. They're like this big, and they're actually flat like a Ziploc bag, but they have a screw top, and you can squeeze your own shampoo, conditioner, whatever you might actually bring with you in those. But because they're so flat, depending on how much you put in there, they don't take up, they're light and they don't take up any space. My big thing is about being light, and I'm getting every little thing I need. So I have a separate toiletry bag that's packed all the time. So I don't have to pack my toiletries every time we go on a trip. Unless I do have to think about if I am checking my bag or not. We usually check luggage. A lot of times we have golf clubs. But so then I can just throw whatever liquids in, But if I know I'm like, ooh, I can't have liquids, they're only gonna be gone 2 days, I might change up how I do my toiletries. But for the most part, like say we're going to Europe, I try to bring everything small because I don't know. Like if I go there, am I gonna have the same amenities? So I need to look up some of my hotels to be like, do I even need to bring
a hair
body wash? Well, and here's the problem: you don't need to bring a hairdryer because it probably won't work there. So they usually have different plugs for the electricity. So you're better off using the hotel hairdryer.
Yeah.
The only thing that sucks is if you're a curly Diane girl like I tend to be, it's like that you got to have the converter.
Yeah.
So there's a little tiny block you can buy, but don't bring a hairdryer. Don't have a hairdryer. I've never gone to a hotel that doesn't have a hairdryer.
Yeah, I guess it only depends. You have to look in if
most Airbnbs do, and
not.
if you're wondering, ask them. But they should have a hairdryer.
Yeah.
And then
I struggle with a lot of like this little shampoos and stuff that are provided by hotels because I have really sensitive skin.
Yeah, I don't
so I do
like
kind of have to bring a lot of my stuff for that, or like, lotion or whatever. So I really do try to like keep tiny minis of all the stuff that I have, but they're in my travel bag. Yeah. So I never have to like pull stuff out. I just do a little double check and I'm like, oh, here's what I'm missing, or refill or whatever, but at least it's ready.
No, and it obviously depends where you're going of what you need. So you have to think about what you have, and then medications, just simple things that make your slippers.
If you want.
Depending on what kind of hotels you're in, I'm going to be packing I have a lot of hotel slippers. You know how they give you those little disposable ones?
No.
You probably don't stay in the hotel. So I have these ones that are very flat. They're very terry clothy that you get at hotels. So they're smush. You smush them in your suitcase.
Mm.
You can wear them at all the hotels, and at the end of the trip, they're dirty and gross. Just throw them in the trash.
Mm.
So that's something
I
I
guess I've
like to
never
bring.
really needed slippers
One
anywhere.
thing I always
Just wear my
pack
shoes.
too is a robe, but I pack. It's not a big bulky fluffy robe. I bring a robe because I like having a robe when I travel, even if I'm at someone's house, especially if I'm at someone's house. But like if I'm at a hotel, like I like having a little robe. So
Yeah.
that's like one of the things I love, just always having in my bag. And if I can fit it, I bring my pillow.
Yeah.
Probably won't bring my pillow on this trip, but gosh, that's going to be hard. Maybe I'll bring my pillowcase, my silk pillowcase, and just lay
There
on
you
it.
go.
I don't know. I think gosh, that was a lot. That's probably almost all the things you could ever need.
Yeah, I know. I feel like these are all some really great things. I mean, I think being prepared for really anything, but also like,
Yeah,
you know, having those lists if something were to go wrong, who would you call? What would you do? It's so important.
that's the quick thing. How can you quickly access that information? But make sure you know how you're getting around.
Yeah.
All right, stay safe out there. Thanks for listening. This is Matriarch Alchemy.
Bye.